Alright guys, it's the next day. We're in the Supra and I'm going to start the car up and see what the oil pressure is. The car is hot right now, so I already know what it's going to be, but I just kind of want to show you guys. Been seeing some high oil pressure even when the oil's hot, and we had a modified oil pump from Powerhouse Racing, and was seeing some even higher pressures than what I have right now, up around 140s, a little bit too high. So we're going to, we took the shim out. I say we, like there's other people doing this stuff. There's not, it's just me. I took the shim out of the pump and put a 60 thou shim in. It's a little bit, quite a bit smaller of a shim than the one Powerhouse has in there, and I think that's because probably most of these engines, maybe they're keeping the factory oil squirters on the GTEs. You know, bearing clearances and everything else is going to make a difference in your oil pressure. So when I built this block, I deleted the oil squirters and deleted the factory oil cooler. It has a 40-row oil cooler from Powerhouse Racing, and I'm not sure if there was supposed to be a pressure drop with that. I'm seeing just high oil pressure. And I took the shim out. That helped a lot. It dropped it about maybe 15 psi or so. It seemed to help, but I'm still seeing maybe like 120s at like $4,000 or so. Doesn't really change much, it seems, from that point on. So we're running 1040 in it right now, and I'm gonna put some 1030 in it, thinking that maybe when it's hotter, that oil's gonna thin out a little bit. Maybe the pressure will drop. I'm hoping, but it's not like crazy high, but it's a little bit higher than I'd like to have. You can't have too much oil pressure, so we're gonna get the car on the stands and get the oil out while it's hot, because I want to see if I can get most of the oil that's in the oil cooler out as well. That has a what do you call it, thermostat on it that opens up. So I think by keeping it hot, we'll be able to get some of that oil out of the oil cooler. So yeah, we're gonna get it up on the stands, get that oil out. I'm gonna show you right now, the car's hot, what we're seeing at idle and what we're seeing driving for oil pressure, and then we'll get the oil pressure, or we'll get the oil out, get the 1030 in, get it nice and hot, and see what the pressures are, or yeah, what the oil pressure is from there. So it's idling at like 60, 70, between 60 and 70. I don't think that's bad, but you start getting up. That's $3,000, and what it's seen 123. So I'd like to see it a little bit lower than that. So we're gonna see what happens when we swap some 1030 in. Alright, for oil, we're going to be using Driven's XP3 1030 racing oil. And then we're just using a factory or OE Toyota oil filter. And there's your part number right there. If you're interested, you want to use the same filter. And we got our Blackstone oil sample. We got the sample inside, wrapped around the pig mat. And then I'm just going to fill out the information card and get this sent off. It's already got a shipping label on it. And it goes right to Blackstone. You don't have to pay anything until they run the sample. I'm pretty sure they call you back, and that's when you pay. I believe it's like 20 or 30 bucks to get the sample ran, and then they send you back the results from the analysis. Alright, so we just got the oil change done. Just started the car up, let it idle. While it's cold, we're seeing about 115 to 110 at idle. So it seems a little bit better. We're going to take it for a ride, get the oil nice and hot, see where it's sitting at then. And I'm feeling it should be good to go. We are doing some preparation for the dyno, which is in 2 weeks now. 2 weeks. We're going to Florida, we're going to Real Street. Jay is tuning the car, and finally we're going to get this thing on the dyno. Hopefully everything goes well, and we're going to see how much power this thing makes. But we're still doing a few things, trying to get this thing ready to go for the dyno. One of them being we're adding a third fuel pump. We're running a Powerhouse Racing triple pump hanger, and right now it currently has 2 Walbro 525 Hellcat pumps in it, and I just don't want to run out of fuel at all. So I think the limiting factor for fueling for me is going to be another pump. So we're going to add this other 525, and we're going to be running 3 Hellcat 525 pumps. It's wired up right now with some Deutsch connectors, and I have a 4-pin connector in there right now. Unfortunately, they don't make a 6-pin in the size wire that we're running for the power. And I had this one laying around anyway. We're going to run this. It's just a 2-pin connector, Deutsch connector, and we're going to run this, hook this up for our third pump. All right, so we are going to be swapping out the dual pump wiring harness for Powerhouse Racing's triple pump wiring harness. Most of it's set up in the back. It should be pretty easy, but I'm gonna unbox this thing right now so you guys can get a quick look at what it is. Alright, so okay, in their kit it does not come with this or this. This is the fuel pump kit. Comes with the hose, the connectors, and the sock. And this is the Hellcat 525 pump, which is part number, let's see if I get that in focus. Yeah, if you can read that there. That's the part number for, that is the part number for the Hellcat pump. Okay, so it does not come with this stuff in there. I just kind of packed it all up in there from work. This is their triple pump wiring harness kit. Super nice. They do a really good job making this stuff. Like, they could have just used like any old piece of like just any old bracket, but they even went so far as like this is definitely CNC'd or done like an end mill or something. But super nice piece of aluminum. It's polished. They even got all the bolts countersunk in there, which is pretty sweet. This fucking thing. Yeah, all the bolts are nice and sunk in the back. Super nice bracket. The wiring harness is really nice. And they even got a Deutsch connector here. Alright guys, so here's the current setup in here right now. We're going to have to modify this harness pretty good. We're going to hack this up a little bit This is meant, it looks like this is meant to run from the front of the car all the way back if you have a battery up front, and we clearly do not have that. We have one in the back, so we are going to kind of have to cut that one up a little bit to get this one to fit just right how I want it for how the setup is. But we're just going to go ahead right now and pop off the back cover. Alright, that's what we're working with right now. See, I have, I did this with the Deutsch connectors before. So I got a 4-pin here, and yeah, we're gonna have to change this up a little bit. We'll be leaving this one here because this is for like the factory fuel level the sending unit and the level in the gas tank, and then this one here is going to be I set it up right now. It's got one for each of the pumps and one ground for each pump. I'll show you guys how I did the wiring for my battery. I'm running an anti-gravity lithium battery here in back, and this is their battery tracker. It's a pretty cool app. A little Bluetooth sending unit that sends all the information over to anti-gravity battery app, and it's a really cool way to monitor what percentage the battery's at, and it monitors like cranking amps, how much it uses when it starts, stuff like that. But so I have my 2 fuses. This is their old kit, or sorry, this is their 2-pump wiring kit, and I have both fuses in here, and I mounted their relay back here for the battery location kit. This battery location kit is from Powerhouse as well. So everything was I kind of changed it up from their install directions just for the way I was going to do it. So there you can see this is the 2 relays and their bracket. I'm going to basically do the same thing. I'm going to remove this bracket and these relays off and add the triple pump relay. And then we're going to be shortening up some wires and moving some stuff around. But I'm going to I'm going to remove this battery and start pulling stuff apart. Alright, quick update as I'm moving along. I got this, I now have the fuses for the 3 pumps in there. So I had these two wires tucked away for the 3rd pump, and I'm going to keep the Deutsch connector I have here for the other 2 pumps because they have the grounds set in. So all I'll have to do is run, and I'm actually keeping these here as well. Alright guys, we got the pump on the bench, all pumps on the bench. This is the Powerhouse Racing triple pump fuel hanger. As you can see, we just got 2 pumps in there right now. And we're going to wire up this 3rd pump right here. Alright guys, we are ready to go back in the tank. We got the 3rd pump in the hanger, and this is the final setup. I'd like to zip tie these together, but I don't have, I'm not going to put a regular zip tie in there, plastic zip tie, because it'll just break. Because of the fuel
likes to make plastic real brittle. So I'm just gonna let them hang out. They're pretty fixed where they are. They're not gonna like go anywhere or anything, so I think they'll be fine. Let's get this thing in the car. All right, we got the wiring done, the battery's in, the fuel pump hanger is in now. Everything's hooked up, lines hooked up, Deutsch connectors hooked up, and batteries hooked up. So now we're going to connect to the computer, go into the Motec, and manually trigger each pump to see if they are working correctly and in the order that they should be. All right, guys. So now we got the Motec pulled up. We're just going to check real quick the pumps. So we're going to test pump 1. Okay. And we're going to test pump 2 and 3 because they are both on the same trigger, pumps 2 and 3. Okay, so now we're going to test all 3 pumps at the same time to make sure that they're working all together. Okay, I think we're good. Alright, all wrapped up. So this whole chunk piece, this thing here, this is all from Powerhouse. Powerhouse makes that and then make it for the speaker cutout or without the speaker cutout. And like I said also before, this is their battery relocation kit. And I just anodized this black to kind of match the carpet, and then just left that PHR little piece, just how they sent it raw. So yeah, we're all wrapped up. All right, car's all wrapped up, ready to go. Fuel pumps are staged right, no leaks, everything's back together and working great. We got about 2 weeks until we're at Real Street on the dyno. I'm super excited. I really don't know what to expect. I assume the car is going to make over 1,000 horsepower. Hopefully that extra fuel pump will help aid any issues if there was going to be any with fuel. But yeah, it's good to go. It's ready to go. Next time you guys see this car, it's going to be on the dyno at Real Street, and hopefully everything goes great. So stay tuned. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.